A person accused of a crime and in custody has the right to appear in court within 72 hours of their arrest, excluding holidays. At this arraignment, they will find out if they will be granted bail. Bail is the money they must pay in exchange for their freedom as they await their next court date. The seriousness of their crime determines whether they can be released on bail. Many people of lower income cannot afford to pay even the 10% of the overall bail amount in order to regain their freedom. So, they remain incarcerated, unable to work, and slipping further into poverty. Poverty itself is not a crime, but in many ways we have criminalized it. According to the American Action Forum, as of June 2020, poverty prior to being arrested equaled 57% for men and 72% for women. Crimes born out of poverty can land a person in prison, and poverty itself can keep a person in prison, unable to post bail and in need of legal counsel without the means to pay for it. Regardless of a person's financial status, everyone has the right to retain a lawyer. If they cannot afford to pay a private attorney, they will then be appointed a lawyer by the court. This person is called a public defender. Chris Welsh is a public defender in Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. He explains his role this way.
Question of what does a public defender do? We represent people that can't afford a lawyer if they're charged with a crime.
Teresa Watford knows firsthand about these pros and cons of public defenders and private attorneys. Her late son Sean needed a legal counsel, and through his case, she came to understand the benefits and drawbacks of each.
My son got in trouble, and he had to plead guilty for something he didn't do. And it was a murder case. And I had to get a lawyer. His co-defendant had a public defender, okay? And everything that I needed for the case, I had to pay for it. Everything, to the inspector and to the paperwork. I had to pay for everything.
Though in many circumstances a private lawyer is ideal, in this particular case, Ms. Watford felt as though Sean's co-defendant should have never went and got a private lawyer and let his public defender go, because this particular public defender that they had was very good and he worked in their favor as far as getting free documents in the courtroom, which they did not have to pay for.
To make a long story short, he wound up getting I never seen this in America in all the years I've been. He won, but he lost. What I mean by that is that the judge changed the pleader. He went. It supposed to have been murder, and he changed the charge to aggravated assault. He sent the jury back in, so that left Sean no choice but to cop out, because if they would have came back to him, he would have went to prison for 60 years.
Public defenders are not as likely as private attorneys to win cases for their clients. According to Carolyn Wolf Harlow, PhD and BJS statistician, of defendants found guilty in the federal district courts, 88% with publicly financed counsel and 77% with private counsel received jail or prison sentences. In large state courts, 71% with public counsel and 54% with private attorneys were sentenced to incarceration.
I feel like with the public defender in the Afro-American community is that we don't really get the justice, even though, now don't get me wrong, they have great lawyers, but they overwork them with the cases that they have.
So public defenders, because we have so many of the cases, generally, and we're generally overworked and underpaid, right? We're making less money than the private lawyers because our clients aren't paying us. The county is paying us. And we have more clients than anybody else.
So you really don't get a chance to really interact with the kid, with the lawyer, you know. And
sometimes we just meet our clients in court because we didn't have a good address, or we tried to get in contact with them and weren't able to, or they left us a voicemail but they didn't get to the right person. So there's all that kind of stuff that happens, right? Like bad communication.
Despite the challenges, a public defender is the first line of criminal justice reform, as they are the ones who defend anyone, no matter what the crime is that they have been charged with.
I graduated at the top of my class, and the starting salary for the public defender's office was $48,000, and the starting salary at one of the big law firms, which I could have gone to work for, was $175,000. So no one chooses to be the public defender to make a lot of money.